Hello, welcome to the McEwen Brother podcast. I'm Gregor and this is Jamie. Today, we're going to give you a little life update and run through what's been happening so far, which has actually been quite an exciting week, I believe, for Jamie. Starting a new job, get to grips with new company car, in fact, which is quite interesting. And then we want to maybe touch on a little bit about our investments and how they're performing so far. Bit of a turbulent year, but past week has been not too bad for us. So, Jamie, how has the new job been?
And the job's been good. So obviously started a new job. I went down to Sheffield. So I was in Sheffield for the last week. Got lovely accommodation for 4 days. So Sunday to sort of the Thursday. Day one of our first couple of days of training was getting to know the company in a bit more depth. Fascinating company. Massive in terms of what their growth. They're the
Why don't
industry leader.
you give us a background? Like, what do they do? Like, what's
Okay, so
the
yeah, so the company I'm working for is a company called Safety Clean. They do chemical cleaning solutions for sort of the metalwork industry. So what they provide is simple
Jamie?
terms.
This is like gobbledygook. What the hell is meta work?
Okay, sorry, I should maybe dive into that. So, metalwork is any sort of industry that deals with sort of metal and basically manufacturing, producing, recycling, um, garages, like any sort of metalwork industry.
Okay,
Like even to give you a couple of examples of sort of the companies that we are in. You've got big companies such as like the Formula One teams. We're in all of them. We provide rail networks with solutions. We provide oil rigs. Big
cool.
companies with
So
them.
basically,
But what
manufacturing companies that have metal products on their production line or whatever.
Well, so it's not really production line. It's the idea of people who have got equipment that need to be cleaned. So the whole service the company is providing it's not for brand new products. We're not part of the production line.
Okay,
Okay. So what we provide is, okay, give you an example, trains, okay? Trains that have these big massive brakes on it every, 6 months or to a year, these trains come off the line and they get stripped back to get cleaned,
yeah,
and they have to reuse as many parts as possible to reduce costs. So what
okay,
we'll do is we'll go in and go, well, what we'll provide you is this massive machine called the M736. It's an industrial cleaner. They put their brakes, put it on the part,
okay.
goes into this machine. We've got chemical solutions that gets it completely immaculate. They take it out. They can dry it. We could either have air dryers in it, and then that's it. It's ready. They can just stick it back on it. Okay, so we
Ah,
provide the solution to help companies increase production and process of providing them so they've got the best sort of you know um, streamlined way to get things back out there.
but it's all about making the product cleaner to be
Yeah,
used again. That's the core. Interesting.
the core is getting the product clean. We have a lot of different solutions for different things. So we do like paint booths, we do spray guns, we do uh, ultrasonic cleaning, which is basically it goes in a dunk tank and it's got
Cool.
ultrasonic, so it's basically like pulsates
Yeah,
throughout. So even things with really small and it really needs fine cleaning, we can provide a solution for that.
cool.
We also provide for trying to think of the other machines. There's
So
about
okay, there's
44
yeah, there's a
machines,
range of
but
machines that do cleaning, right?
yeah.
Cool, interesting.
So
This company, what you're doing there, and maybe like obviously before you're doing something totally different. Like, how did you stumble across this? Like, what's the situation there?
Yeah, so my title in the job's a parts cleaning expert. I'm a salesman in the sales department, so I'll be out and about going to new businesses for us to try and generate new income streams for the company. I stumbled upon this company through basically you looking online through Jobs Indeed. I literally actually expanded. So obviously this company is based in Montrose, which is about an hour's drive from Aberdeen. I just kind of expanded out and started to apply, obviously,
Is that
to other
their
jobs.
head office?
So no,
Okay,
head office is in Montrose. So Montrose is a branch
right.
of them. Their head office is like Sheffield, London. So like that's their Sheffield's
Cool.
where I was their remanufacturing. So what they do is we lease out the product. So it's not you don't buy the machines from us. We
Hmm.
provide a service. So they'll basically sign like a 3-year contract. And within that process of signing that 3-year contract, they get everything included. So they get all the service packs and
Cool.
everything,
Does it
all the
seem like,
chemicals and all that.
yeah, I mean, interest, obviously, it's like, who knew that was a product? You can see why,
Yeah.
with not too much information about the whole industry. But obviously, coming across it, seeing the business, going down to the training, good experience so far, being positive.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with like the way things have gone. I mean, the company's got clear signs that they're trying to grow at the moment. They're trying to invest a lot into the business. They're showing good signs of, providing their staff with what they need. I think it's a great example of, for me to go to Sheffield, it wasn't like, okay, we need you to come to Sheffield, we'll cover your fuel. No, it was, we'll get a company car to you as soon as we can. There's a company car coming. Okay, that's not coming. Okay, we're going to have to get you a rental car. Rental car, here you go for the week. Take it down. Fuel's covered. Oh, Jamie, how long's your drive? 7 hours. Okay, great. Well, we'll put you up the night before. Okay, put me in a hotel the night before. Get allowance the whole week, like things like that. There's not many companies out there nowadays with the way the economy is and things are that are willing to spend this sort of money and spend quite a bit of money and just even
Oh yeah,
taking
I
you down
mean,
there.
don't know. You don't know. There's probably other companies doing the same, but there's maybe lots of companies not doing the same. So you just can't generalize that. But the service that you've had from as an
Pretty
employee
much.
perspective is pretty good. That sounds pretty
Yeah.
good. Uh,
I'm only 22, Gregor.
I mean,
This is some
yeah,
experience.
yeah, of
I know
course.
there is. I know
Good
there's
stuff.
bound to be other companies. There'll be plenty of companies doing that out there. I think just for myself, as a point of view of being a young individual, it's very all new
Well, I mean, like
and
if you
it's
think
quite
about,
exciting.
yeah, of course, and it is exciting. It's as Dad put it in our family chat. Oh, well done, Jamie, moving up in the world. I thought, yeah, there's a good summary for the current situation compared to sitting in an office with no windows and calling people in your last job. Yeah, it's quite a difference. So yeah, like well done. That's good. It's
Yeah.
good stuff. Any kind of like red flags you've noticed from the job? Obviously, it's very new and you're still getting started, and actually just literally just foot in the door.
Yeah.
Is there any red flags you're noticing?
Um, No, I don't think so. I think they've put restructuring in. So the big thing from being in so far, there's a lot of new stuff. There's a lot of new staff. There's a new CEO that's recently came in.
Well,
So change. There's a lot of changes, but for me, it's new. So whatever they've changed,
mm,
I'm learning what is the right change. So I'm not going into a company that's getting ready to do a change. I've
hmm
came into the company at the time where they've made these changes.
yeah,
um, I think there's going to be a lot of stuff where it's going to be a lot of management of time, which is
okay,
sometimes I can be a bit all over the place sometimes with it. But that's with any sort of job. You need to learn, you need to develop. This is about growing, and
yeah.
this is what I'm looking forward to.
Is
I couldn't say there's
there?
a particular red flag because I've not been in the company long enough. So
I
I
mean,
think it's hard
like,
to say anything like
I
that. And a red
guess
flag when you start a new company, it's not exactly a good thing to say about them, is it?
no, it's not. But I mean, maybe red flags are the wrong phrase. But you could definitely, if I was starting a job, I'd probably think based off past experience. You could basically say, like, "Oh, I don't like that about it, and I need to watch it for that." You have said about timing stuff, so that's yeah, you're
Yeah, but
thinking about
that's
those.
personal. I'm not saying about the company. That's not
But
to
I
do
mean,
with.
like, as part of the job, you need to manage your time effectively, right?
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Just generally, just about the role. Like, obviously, it's totally different. Never done it before. You're bound to have some concerns. So I'm just curious to what they were. I guess my thinking as well, because it's sales, is thinking there might be like quite hefty sales targets and pressure that front. I don't know
yeah.
if you've had much on that.
So obviously, I think the way the company's trying to grow and what the new CEO is looking for, yeah, we are looking to grow, and I think that growth mindset will be put on us to make sure that we're getting the right numbers in. However, I can't make a judgment on if the targets are high or low or if it's hard to make and stuff. From what I learned on my training and what the targets are and stuff, I think they're reasonable. I think it's pretty fair. They also, no matter what, will pay you. So not like, oh, hit target, you get commission. It's no, you hit the target, you get better commission. Whereas if you hit the low target, you still get something.
Cool.
So
Interesting. And is there any other like colleagues close to you where you are at the moment?
So the Aberdeen, I'll be the furthest north. The other guy who was on the training course was actually from Dundee. There'll be a guy covering Montrose area. So yeah, there's going to be a few of us, but not. It's going to be very on my own, out and about. Long days, sort of out and about, cold calling, going into places, just trying to find the right people to talk to. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. It doesn't scare me at all. I like the idea of the industry is something that I think I'm actually going to enjoy, because every place I go to is different. I'm not going to the same gym. I'm going to a different place every day
Mm-hmm.
and speaking to different people and learning about their industry and stuff. And I think that engineering mindset's also been brought through a little bit of our family, like Callum being done engineering, or Papa being sort of like an engineer. That stuff still interests me. Obviously, I'm not an engineer myself, but it does interest me to see how things are done or what the processes is they do.
Yeah, that's a good point,
And if
actually.
I can come in and go, well, you've got a guy standing there with a metal wire brush, spending 6-7 hours a day scraping some pieces of metal to get it clean. I can go, here, I can do you something better. Put it in this machine, it will last within 15 minutes. You'll have all the parts immaculate.
Bob's your uncle pays for itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
And my
Interesting.
communication skills, sorry, I'm going to just say, but I think my communication skills and the way I
Just
can
gonna big
talk to
yourself
people,
up, yeah.
yeah, just.
Okay, you do that on the podcast. You keep going. Before we started this, Jamie's like, "Yeah, I talk a lot." I'm like, "Yeah, you talk about yourself all the time."
Not wrong with that.
Nah, there's nothing wrong with that. Of course not. Yeah, cool. It sounds good. Sounds like you have a good experience so far. Company car and stuff like that. It's quite a nifty perk. Well done. Feeling positive.
Yeah, good.
Got your
What about
weekends back
yourself?
as well.
Yeah, I know that's the big thing.
Mm.
Weekends back, Monday to Friday. I can means me and you, Gregor, get around the golfing
Yeah,
twice a month.
exactly. I know that'd be so good. We should do that
Um,
actually. That's a good
we
idea.
actually should, especially this. Make use of the summer while it's here. Go get a
Mm,
couple of rounds of golfing. But anyway, what about
definitely.
yourself, Gregor? Obviously, as you say, all talk for me. um,
Yes,
what's your being looking week? What's your week been looking like? And what have you been up to? How's your job?
it's fine. We're just plodding on. There's lots going on, but yeah, it's been quite interesting because sometimes there's well, it's a software business. I work in like sales and marketing team. Uh, there's a lot of like partnership stuff going on at the moment, which is quite interesting. So it's not like direct selling our product, but kind of through other means. Yeah, it's good. I'm not gonna disclose more because there's no need. I want to bring up, and I don't know if I can really, but there's other things I want to talk about, Jimmy. The British Open at the weekend. Now, we as some friends put on a bet, and we got the winner through in the end. It's £5 bet each. £5 bet, but you choose 4 players basically. Um,
Okay.
and we did each way on each bet, and obviously some of them just never worked and whatever. But we got the winner, so we got a payout of that. So basically, tripled my £5, which was nice to have.
So
And
what did so you put? Is it so like there's four of you, I'm guessing, and each one of you just put like £20 on each player. So you just chose 4 players as a team, and then just did 20 quid, 20 quid, 20 quid, and it did
no,
each way.
so we did £5 um, each way. So it was like 250 on 4 players.
Yeah. So like yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So it was
You're
like
saying £20 each, but no, it's £5 for each player. So
but
total £20.
yeah, total £20.
You were
Yeah.
saying 20
Okay.
for each. And yes, we got the winner, so got some money back from that, which is quite nice. But then I went on like WhatsApp and I'm like, I see this post, Jamie shared this image going, oh yeah, I made a duff bet thinking it was a Masters, and I've actually chosen the winner of the Open. And then I see how much he got, and I was like, bloody hell. Yeah, like fair enough. Do you want to tell us a bit more?
Oh yeah, elaborate. So basically, when we were watching the Masters, obviously golf biggest tournament, had to put a couple of wee bets on. And I remember one late night putting on like a couple extra. So it was like I think it was day 2 or something into it, the Masters, and I was like, oh, I'll put a couple extra on. I basically just got a nice wee pay slip from my last job, and I was like, I've got money that I can do, so I stuck extra like £40 in, put £10 bets on each things, and came to the end of the Masters, and I was like, oh, that guy's, yes, he's came like in the top, it was like top 10 or something I put on. I was like,
Yeah,
that'll be an extra
nice.
like 30, 40 quid to get back. And I'm like, nothing's came through. The best part about this, I actually went to the customer service team and says, "Here, why
No
have I not
way.
been paid? No, why have I not been paid out on this?" And they went, "Yeah, you've bet on the Open, the British." And I went, "No, I've not." Went back and checked it. I went, "Oh my god, I have." So I had Colin McKennick, or what's it called? No, I forgot his name.
Colin
Oh,
Moriaka. Mori.
Moriak. Yeah, I had him, and then I had Cameron Smith, and I had them
That's
both.
had them to win, or
Yeah, so I had an each way bet. So I think I had like a fiver each way or something, or a tenner each way on them to win.
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, so this was back when the Masters was happening, which
Yeah,
obviously quite a few months ago, so the odds would have been quite good. Hence,
pretty much.
what you got back, which was quite
Yeah.
nice.
And then I
Okay.
literally left it and didn't realise I actually forgot about the bets. And then
Ah.
it wasn't until like I was watching it one night, I had the highlights on, and I was like, I've got a bet on for here. I've got two bets on. Let's go have a look. Had a look, and I was like, great. And then completely even forgot about it. Sunday night, I was driving all the way down to Sheffield, got into the hotel room, and I went, I'm going to check that. I wonder if he's won it.
Yeah.
Came through, like on the phone to Rebecca, going, come on, you can.
Yeah, must be quite nice. So a little happy mistake.
Yeah, pretty much.
Be nice to have a few more of them. The money you
Oh,
got back from that, what
yeah.
did you just spend it last night on drink? Is that the
Oh no, it's
situation?
covering. It's gonna cover rent this week. That's what next
Oh,
week.
okay. Okay, cool. Well,
So
very good. Another topic I want to discuss is Revolut.
okay.
Now, I signed up. I in the flatmate advised me to get onto
Wait,
Revolut.
well, let's just. What is Revolut
Good point,
for the
Jimmy.
audience?
Revolut is it's a bank, fundamentally, but it has a lot more features for that. So it's a fintech company, so financial technology company, allows you to invest in crypto. You can get insurance through it. You can pay for extra monthly to get all these extra benefits. Allows you to get discounted with other retailers. You can build up points and other sort of things. So there's all these added benefits that I didn't know they had. There's another one which, if you're buying something online, you can set up a kind of I don't know, like a temporary bank card. So do it for the transaction. And then this allows you to basically delete the transaction details afterwards or the bank account details. So you never share your actual bank account details with any retailer online. I thought that's actually really quite nifty, like as a
Yeah.
feature, um, to, buy stuff online if you don't want to track back to your bank account or you're not too sure about if they're secure enough. So stuff like that, they're obviously changing the game to compared to other banks. But they're obviously struggling maybe to get people on board, and they obviously advertise and spend a lot of money to get people to sign up. I had never signed up before. And my flatmate was like one evening saying, look, I've got this offer through. I get £50 if you guys sign up, but there's a few caveats. You need to spend £5 to buy a card, and then you also need to spend 3 lots of £5 as a transaction at a shop. And I was like, well, what's the point? Because I'm getting nothing for it. And he's like, well, the £50 I get, I'll split it with you £25 each. I thought, okay, well, I'm spending £5 for a card, so I'm getting £20, and I'm spending 3 lots of £5 is £15. So then really I'm only getting £5 out of this. It's free money. And I was like, is it worth the effort for £5? But I actually thought, well, I'll just buy my lunch or anything that I need for the flat with those 3 lots of £5. Thought, cracking. And then he obviously turned around and he's like, actually, we need this done tomorrow because the offer ends. And I was like, why are you telling me this now? Did it, signed up on that evening, and then the next day I just went out and bought 3 lots of £5. And then literally as soon as it finished, Flatmate got the money through and then he sent it to me. So I was like, wow, that's really fast. And then when I signed up, I got the same offer. Now, this is what I want to raise, Jimmy, and I'm interested to how you've approached it as well, because getting people to sign up through a message app because you're not physically with them to
Oh,
get free money. Basically, I'm explaining to them what I've just received, right? £50 split between two.
yep.
And it's honestly so hard to give people free money. I get the point where it's like £5 to buy a card. and then the 3 lots of £5, you're like, oh, to get your head around it, first of all, is like, is it worth my time? But
Yeah.
it's free money. Like, you're going to spend £50 this week on groceries or something,
Why?
right?
Yeah.
So why not use that to, maybe if you're doing your leaky shop, just split the stuff up into 3 lots as you're putting it through a self-service till to get the money. And it's like, oh, I'm trying to explain this to people, and I actually got 5 people to sign up. So I got £125 for literally doing, I say doing nothing, but it was a lot of follow up.
A lot of
Jamie,
follow up.
Jamie,
Yeah.
you got the same?
I'm pretty much the exact same. So I've managed to get obviously I was one of the five that for Gregor.
Yeah.
When you first messaged me about it, I was like, do you know what, I'll do it because I was like free money,
Well,
great. And then I was like,
had to follow up with you. Oh, you went on holiday. Okay.
you had to follow up with me, but I was busy. I just didn't have. I was like doing other stuff and had other things, holiday things like that, and I was like, okay, now I'll do it, get it done. Um, but I'm actually glad I did because then the offer ended up coming through to me. So
Yeah.
then I've now done it with Rebecca's sister, Rebecca, and I've now managed to get my friend Telford to do it. I've
Nice.
also tried to get Neil, which I realised you tried to
I
get
know.
through
I
as
bet
well,
you.
and I was like, unbelievable. Oh, I
I
just
was
couldn't
going to
stop laughing.
say,
I was like,
oh, I'm just
um,
rinsing everyone who'd actually do it. And I'm thinking, like, Neil's quite savvy. He's going to be on a board.
oh,
Like, no.
I was so like surprised how, especially for someone like Neil who always like said to me growing up, being like, "Oh, Jamie, like, oh, can't really afford that now," or like, "Want, oh, not too sure." I'm like, "Well, why not earn yourself an extra 20 quid here? You can go out to a
Like,
pub
it's,
and just you could literally go out to you're in I know he's in Edinburgh. I'm like, you go out and buy a pint, you're £5. You've
yes.
got three free pints, or just go up and he's got a girlfriend as well. I was like, go out
Yeah.
and buy fucking some that. Even
So
stick an extra 20 quid
did
on it,
you,
and then you just
have you explained this to him?
yeah. That's what I tried
Yeah.
to get the point
It's
across. But
so
like,
hard. And I don't know if it's us, but it's like, I'm trying to, being out signing up people like, oh, this is like a Ponzi scheme. And I'm like, well, I actually get no benefit from you signing up other people when you get the offer. And
yeah,
actually, when they've signed up, they're starting to bring on other people. So, and they're asking me about, oh, when do I get the money through? And they're just figuring it out. And I'm like, yeah, because I've got you involved, you're actually getting £25 for
I'm
free as well. And it's just
I
like,
I
I
sent people
get
that
why people go, no.
I've the way I did it with Rebecca and Rachel and all that. I sent them £25 before I even get the 50.
Yes. So this is another good point. Like, I sent the money to you first as well, because I knew
Yeah.
that if I do that, you would do it. But
Mhm.
I'm conscious of doing that with people maybe I'm not in contact a lot with.
Yeah. So I'm the exact thing where I've done it with Telfer. So I've sent him £25. I know he's already. You can actually see. So
Yeah.
audience, listen. You can actually, if you go on to, you can see what they've done and what they've not done. So I know Telfer's got everything set up now. He's ordered the card. He's put the money in, but he's not spent 3 lots of £5 yet.
Yeah.
So I've got like 9 days left. So I'm probably gonna message him probably tonight actually. Be like, Telfer, have you managed to make any payments?
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want is gets to 9 days and he's like, oh, I've not done it. Sorry. I'll be like, well, give me my £25 back.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so
I don't.
another thing is, can you only do five?
Well, I thought it was unlimited, and then
Okay.
I found out through like T's and C's it was limited to 5 for for the first lot I did.
Okay.
And then obviously got the offer through again. I've same kind of time zone as you. So when you have it, I have it, I think, as well.
Oh, have
And
you got the offer again?
yeah, so I think because the way I figured out was who I got it from originally had the same offer as me at the same time. So I thought he was giving it
Ah,
to me and that was it for him. But I think it's just like they do it to everyone.
okay.
So
That's
yeah.
interesting because I might get Rebecca then to try and do it to her friends.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it will come through and
It's
then you just do
what
it.
I
Yeah.
find. It doesn't. So like setting it all up, it takes maybe what 10 minutes to set it
Yeah.
up. Okay, your phones have your bank details in it, so then to actually try and transfer the money into it takes
It's
literally
easy.
seconds.
Yeah.
The only thing I think is for people to go out and go and spend 3 lots of £5 because I know Rachel did it. Rachel did it and then it didn't come through. So something was wrong with either one of her payments, where she took the payment and stuff.
Okay.
She ended up putting more money in and then had to spend.
And did it
So she
work?
ended up spending. Yeah, then it worked, but it's
Okay.
just it technically went over my £25 that I'd given her.
Okay.
So like that annoyance of actually trying to
There is some stuff that you
find
can't
free.
there's some stuff that they say you can't buy, like you can't gamble or buy gift
Yeah,
cards. Um, But yeah, there may be a technical issues, or it might take a bit longer than what you'd expect. But every time I've done it, it's been like, as soon as somebody's made that final payment, it's come through, and I'm like, "What the hell? That's so good! How fast it is! They can just switch it on and get money straight
Yeah,
away."
100%.
So
I think. Have you tried to do anyone else then?
it's
Have
just
you just
yeah. So it's just
given
I
up?
just find it I find it interesting. People just trying to persuade them to do it because it's like, I'm giving you free money. Yeah, I've messaged like a few people from like old uni friends. I tried
Yeah.
to get Karsten Cayley involved. I'm sure you have as well, maybe.
I've not
But
done them because I thought Gregor's going to rinse all of them
yeah,
before
so
me.
I've done Abby, and then she was like, "Yeah, I'm keen." So this is like our cousins. She
Yeah.
was like, "I'm keen." Hasn't done anything. Um,
Well, I'm going home this weekend. Oh, have you done Murray? Did you try Murray?
no, I think he would be up for it, but I feel like you need to be with him.
Yeah, I might. Well, I'm going home this weekend because I've got to be in Stirling all week. So I
This is
might nip
turning into a full time job. It's like, oh, this is like I'm making £25 from nothing, and then you're
straight.
spending.
Colin would do it, I reckon.
Yeah, I was gonna message in our chat for Colin and be like, why don't we put this towards our golf?
Yeah, that's actually quite a good one. That's audience has no idea about that, but we'll keep that for an episode.
Okay, good chat.
um,
Yes,
okay,
that's.
well,
I wanted to bring that up because I'm amazed. I mean, I was doubtful as well, and I guess if I got a message, I'm trying to think, if I got a message, would I do it? But
yeah,
if the way I've explained it to people, Messenger, I feel like it's very clear. I'm being clear cut. If you were to do that to me, I'd be like, yeah, okay, you give it a shot. And it's just like getting people across that final line is just, I
a
don't know,
mission.
why is it so hard? And then one of one of our cousins basically said that is, what's the point in another bank? It's
Is that
like
what
that's
one
not
of
the
our
point.
cousins said?
That was Kaylee. What's the point in another bank? Like, is it secure? I don't need another bank. I'm like, well, do you need £25 as a student? Yes. Like, come on.
Out of all people, I'm surprised that she didn't go. Yes, that's fine
Yeah.
because then she could have. Yes, very surprised at that one.
Mm.
Anyway, let's cut to the chase. It is great. It's actually quite a good app. It's a great, easy way to get another banking app. You can
Yeah.
also use it abroad,
Yes.
which is another wee perk of it. Um, but definitely really odd. How hard is it to get people to just
I just think,
take
even if it was,
£25?
I know, and if I'm
Like
curious, like, if it was something else, like, it's interesting. It's like, as
so.
a concept to get people involved is, yeah.
Okay.
It's I say it's easy, but it's not. Um,
Yeah. Next thing,
yes.
stocks. Okay, so
Right.
the last probably 6 months, stocks have kind of been very volatile, I would probably say, and have been all over the place.
Just ever since like January, it's kind of like up and down, and mainly trending down, I would say,
I
for me
think
anyway.
I think it's obviously inflation coming into place.
Hmm.
Obviously, you got the new tax year, people worried about how things are going,
Yeah.
um, living costs. Well,
Are
it's literally
you?
been in the news for months about how living costs are
Yeah.
just getting,
I
people.
Yes, obviously, there's a war going on. I do think I'm a bit concerned about, obviously, we're going to get a new prime minister soon.
Yeah,
Bit concerned about the outcome of that and the impact on the stock market. It's all these factors trying to consider in, but obviously playing the long term game.
yeah,
But the past week, which I'm trying to piece together, I think it's because there's been some good numbers come out of companies, um, you know, doing fairly well. So I think that's why the stock market has done better this week compared to previous 6 months,
yeah,
relatively
completely.
speaking.
It's like the little things of even just like how the high street, they predicted the high street to do a lot worse than it has.
Hmm.
It's not done as bad as things, and I think there's a lot of people still spending money going on holiday. It's not like obviously after COVID, people have got money now to kind of
Yeah.
go out and do things, and I think this bubble, how long will it last for? Are we going to see come next year people going to be now like, okay, no, I actually can't afford to be doing this,
Yeah, that's a good
because I've not
point.
got the savings anymore. So is it just
There's
this a short window?
Yeah, that's a good point. There is definitely, obviously, cost of living crisis. Like, I guess in the UK specifically, um, can't really say much about other countries, but I guess energy's got a lot more expensive, and it's going to go up more in October. That's going to play a big factor in, I think, as well. I
Yeah,
guess maybe looking at alternative investments, um, on that side, so less consumer focused. I know we've talked about Dunelm, as a company, they're very much, consumer focused, B2C. So yeah, I think perhaps looking at that avenue to something different. There's a few companies in my that I've obviously invested in directly that haven't performed as well as what I thought. I
Yeah.
would suggest Greg's has not performed as well as what I thought it would. I guess it is the cost of energy costs increase. So if they're a producer, gonna have to raise prices, which they have done slightly, and I guess their margins are getting thinner. Perhaps that's fed into the share price as well. Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty, and I guess it's like we could have said this last year as well. There's always going to be uncertainty, so we try to play a long game. So I guess what the message I want to get across, Jamie, I don't know if you're right or if you agree. If you do agree, sorry,
Yeah.
is the message that I say is like obviously try and play the long term game. Like if you need cash immediately, and if you're looking for short term growth in the stock market, perhaps tailor your investments to that. So we have been, I've been a bit more risky lately, just with our investments to increase capital growth, and that's obviously been affected by and sort of downturns that we've had. But
Yep.
the flip side of that is any growth does basically affect my portfolio quicker. So in the past week, I've noticed that, and that's a good sign. It's good for me, and I think when I do need to use the cash fairly soon, I'm kind of like in two minds. Maybe I get your opinion on this, Jimmy. So portfolio's done a bit well over the past week. Um, say it's about touching, well, it's 8% up, right? Say it's 8% up compared to what it was like 3% up. Now, overall, it's not a huge difference, but for the size of the portfolio and the cash that equates to, it's pretty much like what would I say, doubled its money basically, right? Because it's in a percentage terms, it is actually double. Like 3 times 2 is 6, and it's up to 8%, right? So it's actually more. So my point of view is, do I sell now because I might need the cash sooner, and I'm happy with 8% at the moment, or do I hold on until, which I am concerned with, is like the outcome of the who's going to become the next prime minister and the
Okay.
knock on effect of that on the market and other aspects as well. What would you do?
Okay, so there's multiple things you could do here. So, what is the key question I'd ask is what do you need the money for? Like, is this money like okay? I'm gonna be like we've talked before, buying a house. Is this like okay? I found a place. I need that cash. I'm gonna buy a house. Is it
This
for that?
this is the fun. Yeah, it's money for that.
Okay.
So my thoughts are just to maximize any gains I have and realize them when the market's up. Because a couple months ago, well, the start of the year, it was up. I was up, I think maybe 15% or something like that,
Yeah.
like a fair chunk. And then obviously, it almost basically, I was down a bit, kind of like a couple of months
Yeah.
back, and now it's kind of trending up again. And that trend has affected my portfolio to be positive, not as much as it was at the start of the year, but
Is
I'm about probably halfway to what it was.
is that
I
by any chance is this Vanguard?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So just so I know what portfolio because I know what portfolio is getting used for what. So, um, my thing would be to leave it. Um, I would almost say the risk at our age. Yes, you've got the money for something later on down the line. Um, do you see yourself buying somewhere in 6 months? Like, have
yeah.
you seriously got to a point where now have you viewed places? Have you like so like I'm thinking about it now more as well. This it's one of the things that me and you are both we've looked at a lot to sort of get into the housing market. It's just like how serious. Actually, this is probably the question I'd ask. How serious are you to using that cash to buy? How
But
soon are you?
it's literally that cash is just there to buy,
Yeah.
and uh, this year more than ever, I feel like I'm in the best position I can be to do that.
Okay. Do you need the other question I would have is do you need to take all of it?
No, I wouldn't take all of it. So yeah,
Um,
there's that question of do you could realize like half of it now,
Yeah, that's
Or my other thoughts is like you move that into, because it is in the riskiest fund, you move it into a less risky fund, but you're still in the market.
I, that's like that's such a hard one to answer. But I think for it has to be something that you have to understand yourself is, you
Mm.
know, if if you're seriously going to buy in 6 months' time, probably the safest things, if you're up and you're happy with the amount you've made, you could take it out, put it in the bank, it'll sit, it'll do nothing. If anything,
Yeah.
it's going to lose money because you're going to see inflation go up again. So you're going to that money will become worth less.
Mhm.
Um, Albeit the house market might get better, and you might actually be like, "Oh, actually, I could. This is a good time. Let's just get into it now." But realistically, I would just leave it. We're that
Yeah.
young, we're that at that age where when you're ready, see when you find that one that you want, you're like, this is the one. And you've realistically, you've already said it, you're not going to use all of it. So even if you lose, say, you lose 5% of it, okay,
Mhm.
it's not going to be the end of the world. But if you do find the right place and you have to take the money out and buy with the money that is sitting there, I don't think it's going to be that big of an effect that you're going to be worthwhile. Whereas you don't know if 6 months time that 8% could become 13, 14. You
Yeah.
don't know. And I'd rather be at our age going, nah, I'm going to take that risk because you've still got plenty of cash. It's not going to disappear. It's not. You're not in that higher risk that it's going to disappear. You're in a risk, just a higher risk one.
Yeah. No,
Um,
no, yeah, that's fair.
so I
That's
would
a good point.
personally, from this is not a financial advice, but myself, I would I would just leave it. I would just leave
Mm.
it in there, Gregor. Once you find the property that you want, and you're like, okay, I need to put an offer in on this, then I would pull it out so you know you've got enough.
Yeah. That makes
That's
sense.
what I would do.
That makes
Um,
sense.
so
Cool.
that's what I would do.
Nice.
Um,
Thanks for that wee bit of clarity.
but anyway, for myself, property.
Yeah. What's happening?
Hmm.
Oh, do you want
Um,
to talk about your portfolio? I've talked a wee bit about mine.
Well, yeah, so my portfolio it's done not bad. I'm kind of creeping back up. I had a massive loss with Boohoo, and Boohoo just basically put me in the red.
Okay.
And I've been fighting back to try and
Are
get
you
that back.
holding
So
on
I've
to
been
them?
no, I sold them. So
Okay.
they just took a massive hit, and I just thought I don't know if these guys are going to come back quick enough, or I'm glad when I did sell them, I'm glad I did because they went down another like 10-15%, and I was like,
Wow.
I just didn't need that extra loss. I lost quite a bit in them, and
Okay.
then I was like, okay, let's try and claw this back with buying some other companies and stuff. One of the companies I bought and they kind of went down in the last wee while was Dunelm.
Mm-hmm.
But Dunelm, as we're saying, they're basically a company that obviously do the furniture, and they just sort of
Kind
provide
of
sort of
homewares and stuff,
homeware
right?
and stuff.
Yeah.
You look at their business model and the amount of money they've made over the last sort of coming years and stuff. It's surprising how well they've still done throughout the pandemic and even after. And then I started to see, I've got alerts on for them. I started to see like sort of bigger guys investing in them. So like people
Okay.
putting serious money. And I was like, okay, these are CEO. There's people within the company buying shares. There's a lot of stuff like that going on. And I was like, this is probably a
What do
time
you
to
use?
probably
Do you use Google Alerts for that?
yeah Google
Yeah.
Alerts.
Nice.
And I thought, oh, let's have a wee look into that. So I ended up buying more, and in the last week, I think they're up like 8%.
Yeah, I saw the jump
Um,
this week. I was like, wow. When you mentioned it, you invested them in the your share club.
yeah,
I put them on my watch list, and then
yeah,
I checked on them at the weekend. There, well, yesterday, sorry, and yeah, I saw the jump, and I was like, fair point, Jimmy. Well done.
yeah. Do better than our dad anyway in this year club.
I actually
uh, I'll leave it at that. I don't think I
okay.
can say much more.
Well, not without him, I guess.
Yes.
To back
Um,
himself up.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Now, do we want to discuss property stuff that you're moving on to, alluding to?
yeah. So obviously you're looking at property stuff in Edinburgh. I don't know how you've looked recently and stuff, but obviously I've got a girlfriend who's now decided to go on to do a masters
Hmm.
and stay here in Aberdeen, and living costs and everything up in Aberdeen. I have to say, compared to the rest of Scotland, pretty cheap. It's a pretty
Yeah.
cheap city. Rent is cheap. I think living costs probably not that much different, but I do think it can be a little bit cheaper compared to Edinburgh, Glasgow.
Yeah, kind of.
Um,
You'd expect it to be.
yeah, so I've just basically started to look at sort of more into properties. Same with the girlfriend. We're both sort of having ideas of actually just buying. We're
Okay.
kind of needing more space. The big thing with our flat, we found typical. You buy a flat, it just fills up. You think it's, oh, this is big enough. This has got enough space, and then before you know it, we've filled it up.
The
Um,
one you're in?
yeah, it's quite
Really?
cramped
What
with the
what would you need the
space.
space for?
So I think we both want a bigger sort of kitchen place where it's like it's on its own separate area,
Okay.
and have our own separate sitting room. The other thing is comfort. Our sitting room's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Sofas aren't great.
Okay.
It's all owned by the landlord. We don't really say to him, "Oh, can you get new sofas?" Because then he might charge us for that, and then we still don't own them.
Yeah.
Things like that. So, um, just been having a look. Property prices in Aberdeen pretty damn good for what you can get. I can be sub 100,000 and you're getting a decent sized two bed
Nice.
up here. Okay, so um, houses are struggling to sell up here. People are struggling to sell them. So I think his other thing is you've got the benefit of not, if you put an offer in at the asking price, it's most likely going to go. You don't really
Okay.
need to go over. If anything, you could probably try and push for an
Yeah.
under offer, sort of stuff. So kind of keen to get on the market. The only thing is, similar to yourself, girl, we've both spent a lot of money going away, doing things, needing for the next sort of 3 to 6 months, just like saving, not spending much, going out, not have much outgoings because it is just adding up and it's making it not
Cool.
so much possible. So, yeah, kind of keen
Yeah.
to sort of look into it. What about yourself? Like, I feel like
Interesting.
I obviously I know this episode's going on a bit now, guys, and I hope you are still here. But
All right.
what I hope that you're like, what were you doing, Greg? Because I know the financial position you're in. You're very ready to
What?
get started,
Yeah.
and
I'm.
but you're probably in the worst place you could be to get started because everything's going nuts in
y-
Edinburgh.
Yeah. Like the house prices here are um a bit crazy for what you get compared to other parts of the UK. But then again, you're buying in one of the best cities in the world, through numerous surveys and awards and all this sort of stuff. And then you've got the festival. So yeah, I feel like it's a sound place to buy. And part of me does think you pay a hefty premium to buy in Edinburgh, but in the long term, I think it's a sound investment because you can either benefit from property growth, you benefit from being in a really good city. So there's a lot of added stuff to it, but to get your
Yeah,
foot in the door, I think is obviously quite a hefty jump for anyone. So that's proven with house prices going through the roof, and that's not just Edinburgh but everywhere else. So yeah, it's difficult, and especially when you're like me, first time buyer, single buyer. Um, yeah, it's not easy, but I feel like we've put a lot of effort into over the last couple of years about saving for it and
yeah,
focusing on investing in stock market for it. I've certainly done that in the past, and I feel like it's just coming to a point where I'm like, I just need to like make the conscious effort of actually doing it and getting out there and putting offers in or putting notes of interest in and actually viewing properties, because you know it's time to have that part of my life. I think having a property,
yeah.
getting a bit of like
There,
I want to the edge of like looking forward to that, but also like I want to do it.
yeah. I definitely think there's it's probably the right timing now. I think than ever.
Mm.
We've saved enough. We've both
Yeah.
got. I think I've got enough for. Obviously we've both discussed doing it together and doing like the first ones together and helping out. Which I'm still keen to. If you need help in Edinburgh, I would help you with it because Aberdeen's not the be all and end all on buying because rent is up here that cheap. I'm happy
Mm.
to obviously help out in Edinburgh if need be.
Yeah,
Um,
I think there's I the way I'm approaching the first one is we do it individually.
yeah,
But with that in mind, is we're turning the first one into a buy to let to move on. So basically, it'll be first couple of years with a mortgage, and then when that ends, you can then transfer it to buy to let mortgage, and then move
Yeah.
on. That's when I think we both need to help each other out, and
Yeah.
that's when we become, we can use it as an investment together.
Yeah. But I think we're both. The sooner we get on the ladder, as Auntie Sandra said to us, the sooner you get on the ladder, the better. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking like that's a very good point, and I was thinking, when they had the other property for sale in
Yeah.
Alloa,
Mm-hmm.
and I was thinking if we'd bought that, and the way that we were going to do it is like cash,
Yep.
and I was thinking like I'm kind of glad I didn't because I need that money now, like for the sake of 50 quid a month, I get each
Yep.
profit, I'd be, I don't know, what, maybe £1,000 richer at the moment, but it doesn't make up to the investment. And I don't know if you wouldn't realize any capital gains because you wouldn't be selling it. So yeah,
Yeah.
there's that aspect which I'm kind of glad of. I just
So like,
that came up in my head.
I think you. It's interesting you say it because I've not really thought about that flat for a long time. But on the other hand, that's been more than a year. That was 2 years ago.
I know,
That
I know,
flat.
it's
Okay.
crazy. Yeah.
So that flat we talked about maybe buying cash. I think if we bought that flat,
hmm
okay, we would have had 2 years of income. We would have
That's
done
what
probably
that's what I mean. Like,
interest only, and probably had more like actually cash flow
what do you mean
coming in.
interest only? You've bought the property outright, so you don't need interest only.
Oh yeah, I forgot we talked about buying it right because we were gonna.
That was the thing.
Yeah, I forgot
So
about
that's
that.
why there's a high capital outlay. I
Yeah,
was like, I
and
need
then there was
that.
that other flat. There was the other flat I went to see in Alloa.
Oh
That was like
yeah.
the one that was like 20. I think it was 27.
I
27.
think properties that price, you're buying cash anyway. You have to.
Yeah, you kind of have to, but like I do know that we and you could have probably put like 15 to 20 in it and left like 7 grand to pay off or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point. But then it's like my point of view is in 2 years you would have got what, six
They were going to
grand
be they're going to be
between
what
us.
they're probably being £400 a month, so you're looking at like 4 grand, maybe 2 grand each or something a year.
Yeah,
So
for the investment, long term, yes, I'm keen. For right now, where I need that cash for buying my own place,
yeah, we'll get
that's where I
there.
was like,
We'll get
yeah,
there.
get there,
We'll get there.
get there.
Anyway, this has been a lovely episode with my lovely brother.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed every second of it, Jamie, too.
Great. Well, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week.